Hello YouTube, this is Ready Set Exploit. We're going to be doing Red from TryHackMe, which is a machine I made that I had a lot of fun time making. The main theme of the machine is essentially a red and blue player engagement. It was based off the King of the Hills games. So if you ever play King of the Hill, you know that anything goes in those matches. So I was trying to emulate something like that, but also try to find a medium where it's still fun and not too frustrating for whoever's playing this machine. We start by finding a web server that is vulnerable to local file inclusion. We find that we could read one of the history files from one of the players. We see that a command using hashtags being executed to generate some passwords. We brute force the passwords, and that's when the match really starts. There's a lot of like little evasion techniques being thrown at you to try and throw you off. But if you keep your wits on about you, you actually see that it's not that tough to move forward. You find a cron job that allows you to edit the host file, so that you get a reverse shell as another user. So that user was using that as a form of persistence, which is a common persistence method, which I'll cover in a bit. And then we see that the user implemented a very unique backdoor by utilizing a pkexec version that allows you to utilize the Pwnkit vulnerability, which came out in 2021. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. So first thing is, got my directory here set, and we're gonna do sudo nmap -v min rate 10,000 6794, and we're gonna scan all ports. And I do this because it is a relatively quick scan with the 10,000 there, and we only see two ports open, 22 and 80. So if you're familiar with these, we know we're looking at a SSH in a web server. So now we do -svc for run for scan versions and default scripts. Save it to a file called nmap.txt. We put the IP address -p to signify our ports, and we do 22 and 80. And the reason why I do these two steps is because it makes the scanning a lot faster. So instead of running -p- with everything set, which could take a couple minutes, now I just hone in on these two ports. And you see, it ended pretty quickly. We have OpenSSH, so we're dealing with a Linux machine, Ubuntu to be exact, and we have a web service running Apache, no non-vulnerable version. Let's see, and it gives you the title, and it gives us a requested resource. So off the bat on Nmap, you can see we might be dealing with some kind of LFI. Not always, but seeing a parameter that's loading a page, it's always a good indication. So let's go ahead and launch this. And there we go. So we have this site. Looks like a pretty standard site. Let's make that a bit bigger. So if you look on the bottom left, you see that the page loads different pages, portfolios, services. If you look close, you see there's a message. Red was here, blue is a loser. If you ever watch Pokemon, the anime, this is a callback to Gary Oak, saying Gary was here, Ash is a loser. So there was also one of the original ideas behind this machine. So Gary Oak was here, Ash is a loser. Find the videos, but essentially this is it, right? That's where I got it from. I always thought that code was funny. So it looks like essentially we know that Red's been here, has already kind of defaced our site, and see we would even catch it. But let's focus on this right here. We use something like burp. Oops. Burp suite, and let's see. See, once it loads, we can go ahead. We don't have to intercept. We could just refresh this page, go to the history right here, send to repeater. I'll turn this off for now. We don't need it anymore. What we could do is go to payload all the things LFI. There we go. And we're looking at local file inclusion. Lots of payloads here that we could try. This is your standard one, right? Copy this. Also does null bytes. PHP below 5.34. And let's see, let's request this. Doesn't tell us the PHP version, but let's try this anyway. So we'll do etc passwd. And okay, so if 302 found, it just redirects us back to the home page. So the code is probably doing something. If I can't find it, I'm just going to redirect you to the home page. Okay, no problem. We can try more common bypass. So the ones I always try at first is if this one doesn't work, it doesn't honestly have to be that much. You could stop there. You could try something like a common bypass, especially an old one, is you just, what it does is it'll try to look at every instance of // and remove it. So if you do a // kind of like this, it will remove // but it'll still leave the first two // So you could do something like this. Didn't work, okay, still not good. We could try something like this and see if this works. Oh, equal sign there. Nope. Okay. Whenever a lot of these don't work, I always look at, another thing I like to look at is the wrappers. So we have here, and what it does is encodes the data. See, page, PHP, just PHP wrappers, encode data and still read it. So we could try something like this one, PHP base64 index.php, so we could read the source code itself, right? Index.php, see if that one works. There you go. Ah, okay. So this gives us the base64 copy. We could do the terminal, but right really quickly here the code as base64. And we actually get the source code here. See? So if we copy this, let's see, minimize all this. So let's look at the source code, bi index.php, and very simple source code. See, as you can see, it replaces this, replaces these. So what it does is sanitize function. So it gets the page parameter. It looks for regular expression. So anything starting with lowercase letters, okay, and then it runs to the sanitize to remove this, and then it does a read file, and that's a let's see. So the thing with this regular expression is that it looks that it just starts with lowercase letters, and this matches. It starts with a alphabetical lowercase letter. So we meet that, but then that's our payloads weren't working because it just removes everything, every instance of this and this. And otherwise, then it reads the page. Otherwise, as we saw, it redirects to the home page. So can we remove this? Ah, there you go, much easier. Now we don't have to deal with the base64 encoding. Can we now read files? Let's see, passwd. There we go. So we don't even have to do a directory traversal. We could just read files right off of there. So if we bash, we have root user, blue, and red. So we know there's two users here. And I'm going to do two things. So I'm going to just Google my repo here, here LFIHunter, and I created this simple script that helps with LFI. So I'm going to call this LFIHunter. Git clone LFIHunter, Python LFIHunter. There's a help menu, or we could do LFIHunter. It wants the URL up to the parameter, the equal sign, then the payload that you're using, and then you can select the file, and you could do any file you like. So for example, if I cat Unix, you see it looks at all these. So let's change the IP address here. I think it was 6794, and it starts going. So it takes, so it pretty much just does see the issue file, so Ubuntu, the groups, see if red and blue are part of any particular groups, anything interesting, the Apache. This can be very helpful if there's other sites that may not be available to us, but we can read their source code. Let's see. There you go, the default. See, now we know where the location is, bar.dub, HTML, host. This is interesting. What there's this particular host name to a IP address that it is a local network, so definitely something to look into once we get inside the machine. PassWD networks, SSH configurations. So the script kind of does it pretty much. You can also just write your own, it's not that tough. But let's see, proc version, so this is good to know. This is interesting right here. Like that's an oldish kernel. It also does CMD lines to see if there's anything running by our user or another user that we may be able to see. See, nothing. Apache, and it also looks for SSH keys, history files, and it finds a history file for blue. So if we go back here, home blue.bash, and this is a file that you want to look into if you can read files of a user. So see the commands, red rules, another taunt by red. Then we see the cd commands. We could just view it on here. We don't need this anymore. Don't really need this anymore. I would like to minimize if I don't really need it. So it doesn't echo. That one's just a funny one. CDs. When you see the CD command without anything, it takes you to the home directory. CD. See? Now I'm in my home directory. So if I do red, then it does this hashcat command. So if you never dealt with password mutation, this is a password mutation command using hashcat. So it does, and it uses a best of 64 rule. So essentially it just takes a password, which is this one, and then it creates a like a mutation. But then it's this reminder file and it's hidden, but we know we're in a home directory, and I probably shouldn't have closed burp. I am gonna do this though. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Let's see. Do I don't know, LFI shebang bin bash curl. I'm gonna do silent. There you go. So let's do that. There. Now we do home. It was blue. Reminder. We knew that. Bash LFI. Aha. So there's a password there, and that's what this is using. Okay. Then it cats the path list, removes it, and then it disinstalls hashcat. Okay. So now we kind of know what to look for. We have a password. See, will this work? Probably not. See, it does not. So now we do pass.text, save this password. Could just copy this as is, and we'll call this pass.text. Okay, let's see what that looks like. And okay, yeah, we have a password mutation call it pass list. And if you weren't sure, you could just Google this. You do hashcat best64 rule. See? How to use rules, one rule to them all. So there's a lot of findings on how to do a rule-based attack using hashcat. So, you know, in real life, if you want to mutate your passwords in case, you know what, you have a lot of information and you create a base password and you just want to create certain mutations of it. So now let's try this. Now we do Hydra, users blue, password list is pass list. We know SSH is open. And then we do that. Typically you also want to run GoBuster on the site, but just to save you some time, there isn't anything on that site worth checking. And we don't need this anymore. I am going to call this Hydra. We get a match. So let's create a new tab. SSH blue. SSH blue 6794. Let's see. We're in. Okay? And our first flag is there. Flag 1. So let's see. Can we run anything as sudo? Nope. Blue may not run sudo on red. Okay? Anything here worth noticing? We know the bash history is there, reminder. See, so we kind of already knew a lot of these things. Anything on SSH? It is denied. That's funny. Let's see. Yeah, I made that deny. I don't remember why. Oh, and we get our first message. So this is a little tactic I kind of thought of for this machine. What if I just send you a message every minute to try to throw you off your game? Imagine you're typing a command and that message comes up. It won't disrupt your command unless you allow it to. So that's one way. Let's see. Can we, so you could just follow the common persistence methods. Look for any sweet binaries. See anything comes up. Oh, it's taking a while. Let's see, there we go. Took a second. So let's see, anything worth looking into? No, not really. A lot of these are the same. Snap. Okay. So, there we go. Essentially, it's trying to predict our movement, but it is giving you somewhat of a clue of what to do. Or if you just do psx, ps aux ww, you can see one interesting thing. Red has a reverse shell going on. So is that part of a cron job? That's where Pspy can come in handy. Is there anything we can write on? Let's see. User blue type f dev dot no. Oh, okay. Grep ignore blue. Blue sys proc. So we ignore those. Nothing. Because those don't really they like sys may be helpful, but not at this moment. I don't know why I did that. Let's see. Blue, this is what I meant. I meant group blue. Nothing. Okay, so now we can break out Pspy. If you don't know what that is, just Google Pspy GitHub. And it is a way to monitor Linux processes without root permissions. So very handy tool. Okay, you could download from the releases page. I used to use the S for static, but it hasn't been working, so I just use the regular one. It's not much of a difference. Oops. So, set up a server, and we got kicked out. So after 10 minutes or so, tells us to, says say bye to your shell and the password. There we go. And it kicks us out. Let's try the password again. SSH. See if that works. It works. So it didn't work this time, but I'll show it again in a bit. Sometimes, I didn't want to make it too much. The password will change right before the kick out, and there's a chance that Red picked up the same password. So yeah, so in this case we got lucky, but I'll show it again in a bit. There is a way to escape this. A couple ways. One way is to create a reverse shell, and a reverse shell won't stop you from being kicked out. But if we could do the -T, which is a common King of the Hill trick, see, then nothing loads, but we still have commands, and that's because there is no dev ptsy. So one way, naturally show it on pspy. So if we do cs do temp, see, but we don't have a lot of our fancy little commands, so I have to do a bit more manual. We don't have tap autocomplete. Downloading pspy. Remember, I have the server here. It's taking some time. chmod pspy and py. See if this works. And you'll actually see. We'll actually show you how Red is sending those messages. Let's see. There's a couple things here. Oh boy, that is not good. So this is probably this is a drawback to pspy. It's a lot of output. So let's go ahead. So that is one way to bypass it, if you don't mind that. If you don't want to get kicked out, do this. Let's do reverse shell, rev shell 71 901. This is just my little program, just nothing fancy. Do this, and I'm gonna create a reverse shell. You can also do it as a cron job for yourself. I dare you to decode this. I'll do it for you. But so we do that, get a connection. What we want to do is do this. Control C, tput lines, tput columns, sty raw -echo fg, sty raw, rows 34, columns 145, export term equals x term, and we're gonna run this command again. And the reason why I want to do this is because, the command, if I get my, there you go. See, so it gets a little weird, but it starts sending more than one, but it is actually not too bad. So now if I do pspy, it shouldn't show that much output. It'll still send you the messages, but if we lose this session, it's not going to kick us out of a reverse shell. It'll still make things a bit weird, but we could still have our session, which is a lot less annoying. Yeah, okay, see? So hopefully you fell for that. So we just have to wait, see if there's anything we can pick up on. But this shows you the processes. So that's my reverse shell right here. I still want to see where this is coming from. There's two of them now, two different processes. So this sounds like a cron job, right? There we go. So we have another one. Actually, this is it right here. If you decode this, this is this shell talk. Oh, this won't tell us how it's doing it. But essentially, what it's doing it is echo, hi, dev, I think it's PTS, S, what? Aha, there you go. See? So this is what essentially I set up to run with random text to dev PTS1. So what it does is I look for any instances, PTS2, and that's our connections, we have two. Any SSH instances, and it sends a message, right, that is being generated by Blue. I'm gonna run this again. Now that we know we're dealing with a cron job, but this is a host name. We don't have really any control of that. The only place where we can control that is the etc host file. There it is. We knew that already. Can we write to it? It says we can. Let's see. Let's point to our machine. Nope. Overwrite? Nope. Can't write to it. It's just funny, even though it says that. Can we add to it? See, don't let it throw you off. Let's try that again. There we go. So when you see these, that means we can append, right? If you're not sure, you could just, I don't know, append only permissions, Linux. Append only, and it talks about the chatter command. Then we do chatter command examples. There's this one. So that's chatter. It says right here, file can only be opened in the pen mode, and it shows you LSTTR, and it shows the attributes. So if you see A on here, can only be appended. So, you know, good to know your commands. So we can append. So echo 10.13.4.71 can only append and see host. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to do another reverse shell. Actually, no, just going to do upgrades. I'm going to have a listener ready and hope that this works. It's still the same password. I want to show when it changed. So let's see, can we run pspy? Now, I do have a cron job that fixes that. Oh yeah, I'm gonna reverse shell. What we can do is actually, there we go. Looks like it executed. Oh, I didn't get a reverse shell. Let's see, host. Oh boy, okay. Something went wrong there. It like didn't add it correctly. So let's do this. Oh, there we go. So I didn't mean to keyboard interrupt. Keep doing that. So let's see. So my echo didn't quite go through. Oh, I don't think I did that right. Oops, that's why. That was my mess up. Rules.thm. Make sure you do that right. Oh no, I lost my shell. Because I closed this connection, I didn't, I lost my shell, and now this one's all messed up. So we have to run Hydra again. See, even Red messaged me, and I'm the creator of it. Let's see. Make sure it's the same password. May not be. It's the same one. Wow, getting lucky a lot. So let's see. Perhaps should have made more random passwords. Okay. Actually, so let's see. Cat etc host. It reverts back if you mess up too much. Did that to be nice. Because, yeah, you don't want it to go all over the place. Red rules.thm etc host cat etc host. There we go. No. So now if we go to temp, can wait for it. And should get a connection. Call this red shell blue. No, red. Red shell blue. I'm gonna try this one thing again, but I think I know what I did wrong as well. Upgrades, bash. But I'm not gonna set up a listener yet. Oh, there we go. We got something. Nothing, huh? That is very strange. Sometimes it may just not. Red rules.thm. It may not work right off the bat. You just have to wait for it, and it will execute. You will get a shell. This is sends a shell in the background, and I did that in case, like, you know, it hangs and you just have to wait the 3 minutes. But it should go through. Make sure I got the right 1013 471. Yeah. So just have to wait. I meant to do this command. This command won't will help us not kill the shell. So we just have to wait. I probably should have. Let's see. Hopefully we get a reverse shell soon. Red rules, got 3. Come on. It'll come through at some point. You just have to be patient. But once you make it to this step, it gets considerably less annoying. Still funny that I got the same password. See if this one works now. And hopefully we get. I think it could still be the same one because I think the password change happens at the very end. Okay, that was probably what was launching. I was doing a brute force attack. Before when I was using -t. Let's see. There we go. Got the reverse shell. At some point it executed, probably right here. And we have it. Now what we want to do is upgrade this. Again. Raw echo. ty rows 34, column 145. Export term equals x term. Now, what I did want to do is I'm going to do C2. And I am actually going to do another reverse shell just to show you what would happen if I do this. Now I am going to do this one. There we go. Control C, T put lines. It really doesn't matter. It's just a good habit to get into. Rows 34, columns 145. I believe it's this one. Export term. This is just so we can clear, and I like using this. So if we run it again, now stick here. Don't cancel out this shell. When this gets, it should keep this one. Otherwise, then maybe I was just wrong. But let's move forward. We're now red, have our flag. Now what? We don't know red's password. See if we can execute a sudo. Don't know a password for red. Fine. We could try the same password we've been having. Like that won't work. Let's see. Anything in red's home directory. Let's git folder. Git log. Not a repository. Check that out. This is pkexec. Let's see. pkexec version. Oh, look at that. So if you Google this, exploit policy kit, Pwnkit. So CV 2021 Pwnkit. So if you do Pwnkit exploit, there's a good, I think it's this one. It's a good article, not this one. There we go. Datadog really covers it. It tells you the vulnerable version for each one. We're using Ubuntu 2004. Latest vulnerable is this one. It tells you which command to run. So if you have run grep version, we get an exact match. So we know for sure this is vulnerable to Pwnkit now, right? It's funny. So let's see. I do want to check one more thing after. Let's see. So there's a lot of Pwnkit exploits. This one. This uses C. We could compile it locally, but don't have GCC on the machine. Sometimes it says GCC-9, but there is a Python one that somebody created, probably a few, but this is the one I use. It's pretty simple. You don't have to do this. This is already built in. This is the default payload. You just run it. So actually what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just copy it. No, there you go. I'm gonna do root py. We have to change the location here, otherwise it won't work, because if we look at user bin pkexec, that's the default one. This one, the sweet bit's not set, so it won't work. It will fail. We need the sweet bit set on this, otherwise the exploit will just downright fail. Home red.git pkexec. Let's copy this, and everything works. So this is it is common to use sweet binaries as a root, like as a root backdoor. I just wanted to add a little twist on it, you know, just to make it a little bit more fun. So we do. Let's go to the temp directory. Root.py. Perfect. Yeah, if that happens, just press enter. Sometimes it doesn't mean that you can't write it, just does that. Oh, got shell. Who am I? We're the root user. If you do ID, our user ID is root, but our group ID is still red. Interesting. We do root. Whoops. Root. And we got it. We're in the root, and I'm gonna do passwd root password. You know what? I didn't mean. I just made it with a capital. I didn't mean to do that. Just do passwd, no capitals. Easy this way. And now, if we're, oh, we lost connection. Oh, I lost connection. I lied. I thought that would work. It should have. I'm probably just messing something up. Let's run Hydra. And see if that works. Take a second. But it doesn't matter. You know why? Because I still have my shell here. Don't have my shell here. Lied. It's still the same password. I don't believe it. I wonder if something's wrong with the script. No, it's not. I think I just didn't put enough. But let's do root password, and we're red. Defense. So we do change password. Change. So, well, I mean, people will read it anyway. So you see, that's a random number, and it chooses from one of these. And it looks like for me, it just kept choosing that one. If I do that, and I run it, let's see, and it's for the user blue. There it is. That's a different password. And if maybe you think, oh, well, maybe you didn't set it up. Well, I'm pretty sure I did. Is right here. I think just for this whole session, it just kept choosing the same one, which I think is hilarious. There's a lot of cron jobs here. There's a talk button, the talk script. You see a giant list, and it just, what I'm doing is I'm choosing a random element, and then it grabs that PTS session, avoids root, it grabs for blue, and it, I forgot why I had to do this, but essentially it just sends the element. It just sends this, right? Any number here to that, to the PTS, because that's what it's grabbing. Okay, what else do I have? Change history, I think backup. It just fixes the history file. You see, chatter, changes the mod. This is required so that you can still add to it. So a lot of little defense scripts. If you want to see the spool, cron tabs, this is also for red. This is a legitimate technique for persistence. So what red did is every minute it executes this reverse shell, and it decodes it to base 64, and that's what we saw earlier. So let's see. And you could, so let's see if that was Hydra. So dash T. So temp. So last time I ran Hydra, I believe, while I was running. But let's see if this will still do the lots of output. If it doesn't, then this is the technique to go with instead of that weird reverse shell. And let's see if anything happens. Okay, so yeah, because I think I ran Hydra, I think it was like one of these. It did a lot of output. So the dash T, although you don't have a convenience shell, you can still get what you need, and I probably should have done that. See, the second I run Hydra, I get all this output. Oh, okay. I don't know, something, there we go. See, so I started getting all this output, and that's what threw me off. I thought maybe that wasn't the way. But anyway, that was the machine. Really fun. As you can see, even now knowing the machine, it still gives me a hard time. Hope you like the machine and like this video. Feel free to comment and subscribe as well, and I'll see you all next time.